Benvenuti a SEDICINONI, con noi il regista Michel Franco. Benvenuto. Il film di cui parleremo oggi è Dreams. Diretto da Michel Franco, Dreams racconta la relazione intensa tra Jennifer, Jessica Chastain, filantropa dell'alta società americana, e Fernando Isaac Hernández, giovane ballerino messicano in cerca di un futuro negli Stati Uniti. Un legame passionale e complesso che diventa metafora dei rapporti tra nord e sud del mondo, tra privilegio e desiderio. Il rapporto tra Jennifer e Fernando si pone come metafora della relazione tra Stati Uniti e Messico. Potresti descrivere come hai costruito visivamente e narrativamente questa relazione tra nazioni all'interno di una storia d'amore?
My main interest is the love story, the shift of power, the power dynamics, how two people that love each other so much can harm each other when the love relationship tests them, or the outside, the factors that surround them. But of course, I knew from the moment I had the idea that it represents the two countries. And I want to leave that for the audience to grab. I know it's always there, and that's why the film finishes the way it finishes without spoiling it now. And that's why Jessica Chastain's character in Mexico, she's a different person. She has two lives in a way, and she thinks that with money she can solve everything. So yes, it talks about the two countries, but for me it's more about the intimate relationship.
Il film contiene elementi di potere, vulnerabilità, privilegio e dipendenza, ad esempio tra chi ha e chi aspira ad avere. Quando hai scritto il personaggio di Jennifer, come hai pensato al suo privilegio e alla sua responsabilità nei confronti di Fernando?
At first I was writing it in a more obvious way. That means that she was going to be a Republican from Texas, and everything was a bit too simple. And then we decided to do it in San Francisco, to make her a liberal, to make her a Democrat. I talked a lot with Jessica about how not to play it in such a simple way. And I left a lot of the work to Jessica. That's why I like working with her, because she does a lot of the work on her own. So yes, I tried to not make it too simple.
Per Fernando il passo dal sogno al rischio, lasciare tutto, attraversare il confine, è anche un riflesso dell'esperienza migrante. Quanto hai lavorato con l'attore Hernández, che è un ballerino di formazione, per integrare quel background fisico performativo nel personaggio?
Because he's more of a dancer than an actor, I don't do rehearsals. But we spent a lot of time in San Francisco, where he was the main dancer of that company where we shot. We spent a lot of time together, driving around in his car, talking a lot. And I think that's how I got him ready, or we both got ready for the shooting. Just talking a lot. And yes, his physicality turned many of the scenes into choreographies somehow. But it happened in a natural way. I trusted him a big deal because of his experience as a dancer.
In diverse interviste hai dichiarato che il sesso, il corpo, la vulnerabilità fisica sono per te strumenti narrativi molto forti. Ad esempio hai detto "Sex reveals who we really are". In che modo hai pensato alle scene più intime, viscerali presenti in Dreams rispetto alla dimensione del trauma, dell'abuso di potere e della seduzione?
What's really important on every sex scene in the movie, in Dreams, is that it narratively it works. The film couldn't do without them, and they show a different aspect of the relationship. So the first sexual scene, when he arrives after risking his life, it's a very simple, romantic, more natural, and then it keeps changing, and like you say, it represents the anxiety and the place where the characters are at. What's interesting is that, in a way, the decisions that Jessica's character makes is what keeps changing the reality of Fernando, and what keeps making that every time they encounter again, the sex, the relationships express where they're at. But it's because of her decisions up until the end of the film, where he finally tries to take power. So yes, sex is a main element in this film. I couldn't imagine it without the intimate scenes.
Il film ha un finale che diversi spettatori hanno giudicato crudemente inevitabile oppure divisivo, senza chiederti di spoilerare troppo. Come hai pensato quel finale? Come catarsi, come esplicitazione del conflitto o qualcos'altro?
I try to be truthful to my characters. I try to not impose any action to them. When I'm writing, ideally they should show me what they would do. And I believe that Fernando had no other I mean, of course, he had a better option than to make the mistake he does. But when he's challenged, he does what he does, and that's why I think the tragedy is inevitable.
Nel mondo di oggi, con migrazioni, confini, disuguaglianze sempre sotto i riflettori, quali credi sia il sogno più urgente di cui parlare e come il cinema può aiutare a raccontarlo?
I think people are just looking for a fair life, an equal ground of opportunities, and it's clearly not the case in for people of most countries. In the world, unfortunately, there's A, B, C, and all the way. I mean, nobody ever talks about how Africa is completely forgotten, and the migration that you see of Africans coming to Europe looking for a better life, it's heartbreaking. But it's a very challenging subject matter for everyone. So I think what Dreams Show, my movie, is not only relevant for the relationship between Mexico and the States. I think it's happening everywhere. People are just looking for a better life.
Grazie mille.
Grazie a lei.